It wants to start the week well. It wants you to leap out of bed, feet hit the floor, get after it. I'm not getting after anything today, Gabe. I am so depressed, dejected, frustrated, all of the EDs after what happened last night in the Bucks game.
I thought about just turning it off.
Why didn't you?
I mean, just watch the game, see if anything can happen. I mean, it was still early enough in the game. It was literally 6 minutes in.
Oh, sure. I watched. You know what? Remember that movie Bird Box that came out a few years ago, Sandra Bullock? And if you look at something, and the guy, there's that thing that's like, look at it! And he's holding the person's eyes open. That's sort of what it felt like last night as I got through the third quarter, right? Because I had halftime, went and took my shower because I had worked out, went and took my shower and was like, okay, shake it off. New quarter. I'm sure the Bucks feel the same way. We can turn this thing around. Because it didn't feel, it felt, but it didn't, I could do the thing. I could do the mental gymnastics, which is what I did. Then I went back and watched the third quarter, and wow, it was bad. Dame Lillard goes out. He plays 6 minutes last night. It was a weird way that the injury happened, too. It was like he was lunging for a rebound or lunging for a loose ball. Well, yeah, it was
a long rebound that kind of came back out toward him. So, again, he's thinking, okay, going back on defense, but because it's such a long rebound, now all of a sudden he's got a chance to grab it. So you make that sudden jolt to try to, push yourself forward to grab the loose ball. And
that's how those happen, though.
Yep.
Rodgers, same way. Quick change of direction. Mm-hmm. Is this the end? It's definitely the end of a chapter.
Well, so
is this the end of the era?
No idea. Absolutely no idea what happens, where they go from here.
Well, Dame, what is it, a year, basically?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, Dame's not playing in 25, 26. If again, so the report from Chris Haynes last night is that it was, he's the one who's always been on top of it, and he has always been very close with Dame. So this information saying that the fear, like anytime I see something, the fear is this, to me, Chewy, because I know you've talked about it, and I'm assuming they have something similar for an Achilles, where, the fear's an ACL, because they've got, tests where they're like, yep, that's probably this.
Yeah, you pull the knee, you give it a little pull, see how much resistance there is in the joint.
So I don't know what that is for Achilles, and then you just have the MRI.
It's just mush.
Yeah. Well,
that's what it is.
But there were videos, again, and I always, caution against using the internet doctors, but there actually were doctors on the internet who said you can see the reverb, blah, 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 in the calf.
Very similar to
when
what
it
happened.
And then he goes down, and then you try to put weight on it, and you can't put weight on it. And so that was the whole thing. We've seen it before, unfortunately. So he goes out. And then the Bucks do their very best to try to figure out how to run the offense without Dame, which they have done recently when he was dealing with the blood clots. They had tried to cobble together a roster, cobble together a lineup that could get the job done. But whoa, was it bad. 129-103 the final. As we mentioned, Dame played those 6 minutes. But beyond Giannis, again, who came just short of a 30-point game. I know there was some record of how many consecutive 30-point games, and certain number of rebounds he had amassed. Came just short of that. Can anyone else show up?
Well, you can't expect Gary Trent Jr. to hit 9 threes every game.
Kevin
right?
Porter Jr. had 23 points in the game in 33 minutes. He was a breath of fresh air at times, although the jawing continued in this one, man, the back and forth.
Well, yeah, because the Pacers are the biggest front-running team. They're more front-running than Chewy is. Just they get up, and all of a sudden they just won't shut up. They get down, and they get down on themselves quickly, which has been the issue for the Bucks. They can't start the first quarter fast at all, and then the Pacers just get a little of that jawing going, and that's
you said
a lot of momentum.
I get down, and my brain immediately went to tub thumping. But I get up again.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm getting up from
You're never going to keep me down.
I don't know if I'm getting up from this one.
Even that isn't going to improve my mood this morning. So the Bucks lose and now are facing an elimination game as the Pacers hold a 3-1 lead. And Chewy, you fast forwarded to what I was just about to get to, which is what now? What now? Like I don't want to be Debbie Downer. I don't think I'm being Debbie Downer. There's a certain realism that has to kick in at some point. There's a certain accepting of reality that has to kick in at some point. And this Bucks team isn't good enough. They're just not.
No.
And let's just say, for goodness sakes, guys, let's just hypothesize for a moment that maybe somehow they figure out a way to beat the Indiana Pacers in this series.
Well, it doesn't matter.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you're just prolonging the inevitable, which is this roster isn't good enough to win series in the playoffs. So what now? What happens next? We give ESPN personalities all the grief in the world for consistently and constantly ramming down our throats. Giannis is probably going to leave Milwaukee at the end of this season. I got to be honest with you guys. A first-round playoff exit makes me nervous about that. This isn't drumming up, trying to get people riled up on a Monday morning. This is legitimately how I feel after now this could happen and likely will happen, Gabe, again.
I mean, Brian Windhorst has actually changed the tune where he has heard the same things, and he has been consistently saying over the last couple of weeks, Giannis has never given any indication that would ever be the case.
Yeah, but if he was going to leave, he's doing it now.
Yeah, but he would have to. Okay, so there's a number of things that factor into this. And the Luka trade, I think, also factors into this. Once upon a time, I felt that if Giannis were ever to ask to leave, he could do it quietly. Just go to management and go, hey, guys, we've had a good run. I want to try something different. And I think management and ownership would go, okay, Giannis, we respect you. We'll try to work something out. And he would be able to do that quietly, and I think everybody would kind of be able to see what happened. Well, after the ownership and management took the heat that they did down in Dallas, I don't think Bucks ownership and management wants anything to do with any sort of heat like that if Giannis were to do this quietly. Secondly, do you think that the Haslams just bought into the Bucks to see their evaluation dip down? Because that is what would happen to the Bucks franchise evaluation with no Giannis Antetokounmpo. If Giannis is traded this offseason, ticket sales, the whole 9 yards, everything just dips. And therefore, the evaluation of the franchise would dip. So I don't think the Haslams want a part of that. So that means Giannis would have to do something he is probably very uncomfortable with, and that is force his way out of Milwaukee. Does his personality scream, hey, I'm going to force my way out. I'm not going to show up for things. I'm not going to do this, so you trade me. I would argue it does not. So it's going to be a very interesting offseason to see what happens because, look, the Dame is going to be out for 25-26. He has a player option for 26-27 that's worth $58 million that, and this is a part of the conversation as well, should he decide to play, because I have no idea of a 35, 36-year-old coming off of Achilles surgery if he's going to want to continue to play. But if he does, presumably he would pick up that option because, well, a 35, 36-year-old opting out isn't going to get $58 million. Like there's a lot of, math and gymnastics that you're going to have to do in your mind, but I have no idea where anybody goes from here, if I'm being completely honest.
What would you do, though? Cut him?
Who, Dame?
Yeah.
No, you can't. I mean, you're on the hook. The contract's guaranteed.
Yeah, but so what's next year? He's not playing. They have no chance next year without a Dame-type player to do anything.
Correct.
To do anything. So what do you do?
I don't know. They don't have a lot of assets
you want to talk
left.
About...
It's a bleak situation with Dame going down, Chew. I'm not going to lie. Like, it is bleak, especially for next season.
And it does feel like, guys, I know you guys give me a hard time whenever I use the word snake bitten, but between the Bobby situation late in the season, which I remember you specifically saying, this sucks. Like, you were very like, this sucks. We're trying to build momentum, trying to get this team to gel. Bobby has the suspension. This sucks. So then that happened. And then the Dame Lillard blood clot thing happened. And we were like, what the heck, man? Trying again, get this group back together, build some momentum, build some chemistry. Let them start figuring out their lineups, figuring out what works, how they can beat the teams that are going to be in their way in the postseason. Dame goes out. But then he comes back. And it was like, let's bleep and go. Come on now. We got this. And then for this to happen last night, he played 6 minutes. It was 6 minutes into the game. It just was like, it was the old gut nut punch. It was not one, not the nut punch, not two, not the gut punch, but the nut gut punch where you just are like, I can't breathe. And to Gabe's point, the further down the road you look, the worse it feels. because with the Bobby Portis suspension, at least there was a light at the end of the tunnel. You knew he was coming back after that stretch. Even with the Dame injury, there were all these reports. He's going to try to play in the postseason. Might not, but he's going to try. And then it was like, oh, he's back. Like light at the end of the tunnel. I don't see a light at the end of this tunnel. And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic. I'm not trying to be exaggerant. I'm not trying to like make a mountain out of a molehill. But I woke up this morning with a huge knot of dread in my stomach around the Milwaukee Bucks franchise. Fair or unfair, Gabe?
I think that's fair, just because the future is uncertain. Because once even if you clear that first hurdle of, okay, Giannis isn't going to force his way out of here. Okay. As Chewy pointed out, like, you're still on the hook for Damian Lillard, and without a secondary player, and look, the way NBA teams are having success right now is changing in front of our eyes. Like, you need more than just two really good players. You're seeing that in Los Angeles. You're seeing that in Milwaukee. You're seeing that in Denver. Like, all these really good top 5 type players need a deeper roster around them than just, here's another really good guy. Like, it's just the NBA and the way teams are being built with the salary cap restrictions and all those sorts of things is drastically changing.
And their trade
they got nothing.
Is not there.
There's nothing. They got nothing.
There is nothing. So, Gabe, you said it. He's not playing next year, and then the following year, his salary is $58 million. Mm-hmm. And like you said, no one's going to touch him for $58 million.
Yeah, like he's going to opt in. Is what I'm
you
saying.
Want to be proactive. You don't want to be reactive. Obviously, you got to let the dust settle here, but what the hell do you do?
Yeah, again,
I'm just trying to put myself in Giannis's head because he's a smart guy, and he's sitting there thinking the same thing. He's like, kind of screwed if I want to win a championship. Yeah, this is not good, Bob. This is what Mondays shouldn't feel like.
This is what you say Mondays always feel like.
Not this bad.
Bleeping Garfield over here trying to lecture me about Mondays.
You guys have mentioned that they really don't have any trade bait. Could they get anything for Bobby Portis? Could they get anything for Pat Connaughton? Again, no. Listen, I know the answer. I'm just trying to is there?
Bobby has some trade value. Like, you could get something, but I don't. Are you going to
not enough to win a championship?
You're going to get something similar to Bobby, but it's just going to be different, right? Like, nobody's going to go, oh, here's a first-round pick for Bobby Portis.
And is Brook Lopez done after 2025, 2026?
He is a free agent at the end of this season. So they've got to make a decision. He's got to make a decision if he wants to continue to play. But he is a straight up a free agent. No options, no anything.
The problem, again, is, guys, from a emotional roller coaster standpoint, which seems like exactly what we are on here as Bucks fans, they won that game this weekend, man. I was hoping we were gonna come in this morning talking about back-to-back home wins for the Bucks. Made this sucker a series. Now you got to go on the road and grab one, and it just feels. As high as it felt when they won that game at Fiserv, and we talked about how the fans needed to come, make it rowdy. Bucks dominated in that game. This is just the opposite end of that spectrum from the emotional roller coaster standpoint.
What wasn't the blood clot in his calf?
Yeah, but his other calf.
His other calf?
Yeah. So completely unrelated.
So no issues, no nothing, no sore Achilles. This just came out of left field.
Yep. But that's what happens with Achilles, right? Like you played on a team where Edgar Bennett did it, and that just kind of came out of nowhere. Aaron Rodgers, no issues when he did it, kind of came out of nowhere. A lot of times, not everybody is Kevin Durant a handful of years ago when he was still with the Warriors and he had the calf issue and tried to play through it and tore the Achilles. I feel like more often than not, just kind of you have that quick, sudden movement for whatever reason, and it just.
And that's probably worse than an ACL for a basketball player, I would assume.
Yeah, that's. Again, you want to start diving into that. A 36-year-old coming off of that, maybe a 36-year-old. If you want to take a look at what Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers looked like trying to move around at different times last year, and you need more of that agility, especially at the position he plays.
More basketball. Yeah.
So I want to throw this out there, and I want to be very careful. I'm going to do one of those things where I say something and I duck. Okay, so these computer screens are going to protect me from whatever projectiles people want to throw at me. Are we ready for this?
Are we ready? I'm going to have to settle for this can of Spindrift, Jen, so I hope you can duck quickly.
Given everything that has transpired, is the Damian Lillard trade officially a failure?
Yes. Brought him into
but okay,
didn't even come close.
Sure, I mean,
it's not his fault.
You got 2 games. You got 2 games of Dame and Giannis out of it. You know, you got 2 games out of Dame and Giannis out of it. But if Drew Holiday's here instead, like, it's not like it's better.
Chew, what do you think?
Yeah, it's just didn't work out. I mean, they didn't even make it to Eastern Conference Finals with him, right? They won 1 playoff series. Or did they?
Not even that.
They didn't even win that. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. The Schadenfreude comes out in me sometimes. Huh? What do you say, Jen?
So I'm working through in my brain. I'm doing the old, and I keep trying to push it through the Giannis draft or Giannis position of failure or success, right? There's no failure, Giannis says. This feels like an epic failure. Now, I'm not sitting here and blaming the Bucks for the way that circumstances shook out. I mean, things happen, right? Bleep happens. But at the end of the day, you brought Dame in, as you said, to get you 1 step closer to a championship, and it didn't get you any steps closer to a championship. Guy was dealing with some personal stuff, obviously. Don't fault him for that. Guy dealt with injury. I don't fault him for that. Guy obviously is dealing with another injury. I don't fault the player for that. I don't really even fault the general manager and the front office for it. But when it comes down to it and we start keeping score, this was a massive miss.
But I think
I'd do it again.
I was just going to say, I bet 90% of the GMs in this league do the deal. Anyone would have done the deal, correct?
Yeah, I'd do the deal again. Mm-hmm.
Just didn't work out. You know?
Because if you stay put and it's Drew Holiday here, again, you don't even have, I don't think you have much hope. Because it's just different, right? Like, they needed a change. They needed somebody like Dame, and they were able to go out and get Dame. I would do the deal again.
800-990-3776. Given everything that has transpired, was the Dame Lillard trade a failure for the Milwaukee Bucks? 800-990-3776. We'll get to your reaction as the morning rolls on. There was a draft this weekend. Maybe you heard about it. We were covering it from top to bottom, start to finish, morning to night, every day this weekend up in Green Bay. What an incredible event Green Bay put on. And, oh, by the way, Packers did pretty well, grabbing some players as well. We'll get into that as Jen, Gabe, and Chewy rolls on a morose Monday morning here in Milwaukee.
Feel like indulging your taste buds? Well, you're in luck. Screamin' Sicilian Original Pizzas are on sale for $4.99 at Piggly Wiggly. It's going on through tomorrow, so you can stock up on your favorites when it comes to those Screamin' Sicilian. Great crust, mountain of toppings, sauce, cheese. You know it's all perfect because our friends at Palermo's knows what they're doing when it comes to premium quality frozen pizza. Screamin' Sicilian Originals right now on sale, just $4.99 at Piggly Wiggly through tomorrow. Stock up on your faves and taste what all the screaming is about.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Definitely seeing more delays now from about Watertown Plank Road all the way up past North Avenue and then from Burleigh up to Capitol. The southbound side slowing down from before Good Hope Road all the way down past Appleton Avenue. Northbound 43's got some backups too, just north of Fond du Lac Avenue all the way to Keith. Southbound still looking pretty clear. Eastbound 94, we got a little bit of a backup coming out of the Stadium interchange to about 35th Street. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, chance of storms. Some of them may be strong. Otherwise, warm and windy with the high of 75 at the lake, 81 inland. Tonight, chance of showers or storms. Some of them may be strong. Windy with rain tapering off around daybreak, low of 58. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
No shortcuts, no compromises, just the job done right. At Exterior Pros, we don't just meet expectations, we crush them. Every nail, every window, every shingle is a step toward your home's next chapter. From the moment we start until that final reveal, we're committed to making your home better than ever. Quality products and craftsmanship you can count on. Go to the pros for your next project. Get started today and save $2,000. Visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274. That's 262-800-4274.
The I-94 rivalry is more than just bragging rights. Get to the ballpark for Brewers-Cubs action May 2nd through the 4th and spend Friday and Saturday night under the lights and help the Crew defend American Family Field and the National League Central Crown.
That's your ball game!
Then pack the park for Sunday matinee baseball at the May 4th series finale and take advantage of the Sunday Fun Day bundle. Get your tickets now at Brewers.com.
Mother's Day is almost here, and I've been thinking a lot about all the times my mom went out of her way just to make me happy. Honestly, I've lost count. All of the pickups from practice, help with the homework, the home-cooked meals. My mom is the best. That's why this year I'm returning the favor with the bouquet from the Books Company. And I got you 25% off of your order so you can send some happiness to your moms, too. Books aren't just any flowers. Their flowers are cut fresh from the best farms, so they're bigger, brighter, and last way longer. Some are even grown on the side of a volcano. Wow mom with a bright, happy bouquet, or go for the Books Flower subscription so she can get fresh blooms and major joy on repeat. It's also really easy. I pick my bouquet, delivery date, and done. And with 25% off, why stop with mom? Grab some for your wife, your auntie, and even grandma too. Mother's Day is May 11th, so hurry and order your Books now. Go to Books.com, use promo code CANTY to get 25% off. That's BOUQS.com, promo code CANTY. Books, promo code CANTY.
When you don't compromise on the court, you shouldn't compromise off of it either. Lose the calories, not the taste. Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri. Copyright 2024.
Hey Bucks fans, enjoy Michelob Ultra at Fat Daddy's Milwaukee, Rivals Kenosha, Lucky Clover Milwaukee, DJ's Goalpost Menominee Falls, and Mecca's Sports Bar Milwaukee. Michelob Ultra, proud sponsor of the Milwaukee Bucks.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I don't know which is which, but here's what I do.
Yes, all right.
I take the plus and I put it to the plus. I take the minus and I put it to the minus.
Yeah, but the jacker things don't have the...
Yeah, they do.
Where?
Sure do. On the handles.
What's a jacker thing? Is it something that your wife keeps in the drawer?
You make jumper cables.
On 94.5 ESPN.
To say, put the past away. I wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. You could cut ties with all the lies that you've been living in.
Yeah, that tune fits the tone of the morning as we talk about Dame Lillard dealing with an injury, serious injury. Don't have the exact details, but there's a lot of speculation that it was an Achilles injury and that he will be obviously done for the foreseeable future. Back on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, we want to talk about the NFL draft, which wrapped up in Green Bay. Chewy, did you see final numbers on the draft in Green Bay? Did you see how many people walked through the turnstiles?
I didn't see a final number. I just saw opening day.
All right, so what do you? So give it a guess. Give it the good old.
I think they said opening day was 205. I'll double that to 4.
Should have tripled.
Really?
Yeah, 600,000 people through the turnstiles. I mean, I don't know if there really were turnstiles. I think it was just through the gates that were taking in the festivities, taking in the action. And all in all, it was a pretty successful little adventure for the tiny town of Green Bay, wasn't it, Gabe?
Oh, super successful. A+ all the way around. I think this went as well as it humanly possibly could have for the Green Bay Packers.
Other than the rain on Friday. That was the only thing where I was like, if I could have made one change, it would have been it was cold and it was rainy on Friday.
But even by the time the picks started to be made, sure, if you wanted to go early and experience some of the other things, yeah, you got a little wet. It's April in Wisconsin.
Got a poncho.
Like I was about to say, if you were expecting 3 just sunny, glorious days consecutively, you haven't been here for that long. Like, clearly we're going to get adverse weather at least one of those days in late April. And again, by the time the picks were made, you're going to be dry. So if you showed up for that part of it, it was going to be great. I thought it was a home run, just a fantastic event that the NFL put on in Green Bay. I don't know what else you could have asked for.
I mean, Super Bowl next?
Never going to happen.
Why? The whole hotel room thing is just shot out the window.
It's too cold. The NFL has made it perfectly clear that they don't want a cold weather Super Bowl. The one time they did it in New York, I feel they did it because it's New York. I don't feel like they're going to make that exception for Green Bay.
Never say never, Gabe, because by the time they get to 27 games in an NFL season, you're probably talking May. And they could have a Super Bowl in May. It's very possible.
How big of a roster would you need to make it through a 27-game NFL season?
Just so you know, I can't knock the logic. I mean, it's not like the NFL is going less games. We're having less games.
Yeah.
They keep adding games. So to Chewy's point, now we're playing on Mother's Day.
No, the NFL is just going to be year-round. Like, you'll get 2 weeks of an off-season. It'll go on. The Super Bowl will be after the NBA Finals at some point.
Now, everyone I talked to down here, and I got a lot of buddies that are sports fans, said it looked awesome on TV. And usually if something looks awesome on TV, it's even better live.
I don't want to step on or ruin anybody's feelings, but they did a great job of doing the golf thing, where it looks dark and dreary, but they brighten up the camera.
Oh,
it looks
open up,
sunny and bright.
Open up that iris.
I was looking into the same area from the Tundra Trio, going, that looks a little brighter than what we got actually going. What I'm looking out the window.
We're
at.
a half block away.
It looked like the Deer District, though, with the way it was and the amount of people there. I mean, it was better than I expected, and I had pretty high expectations because it's the NFL. It's the Green Bay Packers. They're going to make it look nice. They're going to do it well.
Yeah.
And by all that, I barely saw really any complaints about what happened even inside the draft experience. Like, some people were like, there's some long lines for Porta-Johns. Well, yeah. Yeah, there's 200,000 people in there with you. I don't know if there's enough bathrooms you could find in the state of Wisconsin to alleviate all of that.
Well, you know what you couldn't figure out from TV, and me knowing the area, actually, obviously playing there. Where was the green room?
Behind the stage. I think they were using the Resch Center.
Yeah.
We were in the Resch Center
as the green room.
Big room, because obviously you got all that space in that convention area.
Okay.
So. Yeah, so you walk this tunnel. It was, like I said, a 1:15 walk from the green room through Ike Winter's artwork and then out onto the stage. And you know where the stage was. I do think that we need to take a moment and give Mark Murphy his flowers, right? For all, and again, I don't think he gets criticism per se, but, he's a goofy guy. And, at times people like to take shots at him and, hey, is he too involved? Does he think he is an owner? He's not an owner. He's the president. Green Bay has that unique structure, obviously. But all of the articles that I was reading said this was a decade in the making, right? 2015, first time they took the draft on the road. And at that point, it was in his head to, I'm bringing it to Green Bay. Hell or high water, no barriers in front of me. I'm going to make this happen. And through sheer will and determination and $8.5 million that the local, people all raised, Mark Murphy was finally able to get it to Green Bay, and it absolutely stunned. So I just want to make sure that for a moment we say, good on ya, way to go. Thank you for doing that, because we all enjoyed it. We were thrilled to be there. And that was the message I kept telling people, by the way, boys. I kept saying, why wouldn't you go? You don't know that this is coming back. This could literally be one of those once-in-a-lifetime things. So why don't you want to be able to say that you were there? And then people are like, oh, yeah, maybe we'll go up this weekend. Maybe we'll go up on Saturday, take the kids, Fan Fest, all that type of stuff. So did you feel similarly about Mark Murphy and the quest that he was on?
Oh, yeah. This is as good of a retirement gift as he could possibly get. And for him to have that moment on the stage as realistically the last big moment he has as the president of the franchise, because he has to retire here in a couple of months, the forced retirement, Ed Policy taking over. That was, I can't imagine a better way, at least in his mind, to go out. After the Super Bowl, this is probably career highlight number 2 for Mark Murphy. Being able to get this event to Green Bay.
Bob Harlan's at the end of his tenure was to get the renovation of the stadium.
Yes.
Right? And he got that done. Yeah, people remember Murphy as this is his big accomplishment.
Yeah.
No, he did a great job.
Yeah, because when I think of Bob Harlan, Chewy, it seems like there's something new. I was up there at the end of the season, doing, Green Bay game day, but it always seems like there's something new and that area is growing. For that stadium to still exist, considering what it was when you walked in, that's what I think of Bob Harlan. The stadium looks like now, to me, that is what Bob did. And now everything else expanding around it is Mark and obviously the draft.
Yeah. Good legacy.
Did you go to the draft this weekend? Did you make it up to Green Bay to take it all in, or did you just watch it on your television? Let us know, 800-990-3776. I'm curious, again, 600,000 people. I'm curious how many folks from the Milwaukee area made their way up there at least one of the days to take in the festivities, and what I am saying is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Okay, we want to get to those draft picks, right? Packers made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 picks. 8 picks this weekend. What do you think of them? Did they address all of the needs? We'll get into that right after this on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
With a dedicated Milwaukee team, Fifth Third Bank knows what success looks like. For 15 years, we've been serving businesses, organizations, and individuals in the area with a long-standing commitment to the healthcare and not-for-profit sectors. Whether it's expansion to commercial payments, Fifth Third offers a full suite of financial services and solutions to navigate your organization's complex needs. Not only do they have the tools, they have the people that are always going to be helpful and point you in the right direction as well. Experience the difference with Fifth Third Bank, National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
We've got some delays northbound on 43 coming up from Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up towards Keefe. Northbound 41 also seeing delays from Watertown Plank Road all the way up almost to Burleigh. Southbound side of 41, you've got delays basically from 145 all the way down to Silver Spring. Eastbound 94 is heavy from 84th Street to about Hawley Road. Back on the brakes through the Stadium Interchange all the way to 27th Street. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today, chance of storms, some strong. Otherwise warm and windy with a high of 75 at the lakefront, 81 inland. Tonight, chance of showers and storms, some strong, windy with rain tapering off around daybreak, a low of 58. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Bev Anderson has a big idea she wants to share.
Bev has been here for 24 years.
Hi, Bev. We're anxious to hear your idea.
Kessler's is 45 years old this year. Monica, remember when your dad used to say in every radio ad,
"I'm Richard Kessler, and I want to be your jeweler"?
I never got to hear that.
Yeah, and then Rick would say,
Kessler's Diamonds, inconveniently located on Appleton Avenue, Menominee Falls.
Inconveniently?
Richard said it was inconvenient for people to have to drive all the way to Menominee Falls, so he might as well admit it.
Bev, tell us your idea.
Richard said something else in almost every ad, and I think we should start saying it again because it's really important.
Tell us.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
I love that.
Fantastic idea, Bev.
Kessler's Diamonds.
We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
For the location nearest you, visit Kessler'sDiamonds.com.
At Potawatomi, where ways to win are endless, another chance to capture epic cash and prizes comes Friday, June 27th. It's the season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty come together for drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is there for the taking. Be there to win your share. June 27th only at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. More info online. Must be 21 years old to play.
If you're a motorist of the four-wheel variety, please watch out for those of us in Wisconsin who do their traveling on two wheels. Adjust your mirrors to reduce your blind spots. Allow motorcyclists a full lane width. Use your turn signal when merging or changing lanes. And allow more following distance between you and the motorcycle. Motorists and motorcyclists can work together to achieve zero preventable deaths on Wisconsin roads. Zero in Wisconsin. Together we can save lives. Learn more at zeroinwisconsin.gov. Wisconsin DOT.
Buying and selling a home can be a stressful process. Hey, it's Jen Latta from Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. The We Sell group at Keller Williams has a goal of making it stress-free for everyone. Their passion is people, their availability is unmatched, something I'm experiencing firsthand while I search for a lake home to enjoy Wisconsin summers even more. Rob and Nick are there every step of the way, not just for their sellers, but also to potential buyers and their agents to bring in as many strong offers as possible. Get started today at wesell.kw.com. That's wesell.kw.com.
Need a new vehicle? Check out Ewald Automotive Group's Spring Into a New Ride sales event. Over 1,500 new and used vehicles. Get Ewald's low price guarantee on new vehicles. Shop our certified best used cars starting under $99.95. Financing for everyone. No payments till summer with approved credit. Now is the time to upgrade with Ewald. Friendly people who treat you right. Great selection and low prices at 10 locations.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Gabe, it'll change your life. Any barbecue you eat for the rest of your life will be measured against Buc-ee's.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee is known for its endless ways to win, and Friday, June 27th, Potawatomi is showing why that's the standard with the highly anticipated season finale blockbuster drawings. Watch your entries from Enchanted Spins, Unreal Treasures, and Boundless Bounty roll into drawings where $300,000 in cash and prizes is up for grabs. Be there to win your share. June 27th, mark your calendars, only at Potawatomi on June 27th. More information available online. Must be 21 years old to play.
This is a special pick, not just because it's the Packers. This young man is here today, so we want to introduce him. So give him a good round of applause. With the 124th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Barron Sorrell, defensive end, Texas.
And here's why the commissioner came out to announce it, because Barron Sorrell has been in the green room this entire time. And here he is.
Wow. Good for him sticking around.
Pretty cool. Now, I don't think he had any expectation of night one, but I think there was the thought that yesterday was going to be possibly be his day. But I love the fact
Good for him. Awesome for Barron Sorrell and for the Green Bay Packers fans who were there in attendance, who got to experience that moment. Do we need to adopt "The Eyes of Texas Are Upon Us" now as a unofficial Packers song, with the addition of Matthew Golden of Texas and Barron Sorrell of Texas, both who were there this weekend to enjoy their big moment, Gabe?
No, because Goody still couldn't help himself. He still added a defensive player from Georgia. So Georgia just
Get it right, Gabe.
continues.
We got the nose tackle UDFA and the draft pick defensive line.
Warren Brinson. I don't know what the song for Georgia is, though. All I know is they go around barking.
Went down to Georgia.
That's not a bad one. I actually don't mind that one.
Charlie Daniels going.
Why did he slip so far? I mean, how do you go from being in the green room to the 124th pick?
He chose to be there. He just wanted to have that moment to walk out on stage. If I were to guess, he probably had indication the Packers might take him. He was one of those guys who everyone is kind of saying, he was probably a little bit better than where he ended up getting drafted. But because so many guys ended up going at that edge defensive tackle position, that, he just got lost in the mix is sort of what everyone thought about him. Everyone turned on his tape after that and were like, whoa. They got something here.
Yeah, I think he wasn't there, hanging out in the green room, Chewy, on day one.
Yeah, he had no expectations for that.
Yeah, but he thought, maybe day two I can go just hang out, see what's happening.
Okay.
And then he goes in early on day three.
So, Chew, if we rattle off all the picks, obviously we know about Matthew Golden. We talked about him at length on Friday on the show. Then Anthony Belton, offensive lineman from North Carolina State. Savion Williams, wide receiver, another wide receiver. Very different wide receiver, though, from what they got from Matthew Golden. That was in the third. Barron Sorrell, who we just talked about, the defensive end from Texas, in the fourth. Is it Colin Oliver? It's not Olivier, right? I just want to make sure that it's not a fancy... Okay, Colin Oliver, defensive end, Oklahoma State. Warren Brinson, defensive tackle, to Joshy's point, the Devil went down to Georgia. Micah Robinson, cornerback, Tulane. And John Williams, offensive line, Cincinnati, in the 7th round. What jumps out to you, Chew, about that list?
That they don't like Rasheed Wallace. I mean, they essentially drafted 2 left tackles, right? I know one was late, but 2nd round pick. I don't know. I don't know how to read into that. Are they not going to give Jordan Morgan a shot?
I would bet Jordan Morgan is going to have every chance to lose the left tackle position.
Right?
Yeah. I would bet they want him there, and they're going to figure out what to do with Belton, either right guard or wherever it makes sense.
Well, and that's what I kept reading, Gabe, was that versatility. Green Bay Packers love their versatility on both sides of the ball, and this is another opportunity for a guy who can play multiple positions.
Well, same thing with John Williams, too. Like, this is a prototypical Packers pick. You take a left tackle in the 7th round, but he ends up playing someplace else.
Well, because left tackle, it's left tackle.
It's typically the best offensive lineman of any college team, and then you're able to move them around. Okay, you can play left tackle. We can teach you how to play the rest of them. We think you have versatility. So I'm not expecting John Williams to compete at that position. Weirder things have happened. Maybe he does. But yeah, this to me, it signifies the end at the end of the season of Rasheed Walker. Clearly not going to give him an extension. I'm assuming they're going to give Zach Tom some money either right before training camp or early in training camp, and he'll be locked up to some sort of extension. But they're also looking, maybe Sean Ryan doesn't get an extension because he's also set to be a free agent on that offensive line, and they're just looking to fill a lot of those positions right now.
So they filled some holes. They got depth at O-tackle. The receivers I like. What they're going to do there remains to be seen. The only thing where I have concern is cornerback. Because they drafted the one kid in the 7th round, but how much are you going to count on a 7th-round pick to contribute this year? So the thing that worries me is if there's an injury there, that could spell a little bit of trouble.
And I want to dive into that a little bit deeper as we go on in the show, but I did see that Anthony Belton's nickname is Big Escalade.
He's a big boy.
That is a good nickname. I really like that one.
Did you see the negative for him? I mean, he was playing at like 360 this year.
Was he really?
Yeah, it was 6'6", 360, and they're like, hey, you got to get that down to closer to 340. So that was like one of the negatives for him is that he played a little heavier, and they're trying to keep the weight off of him. But yeah, I can see why you would be Big Escalade.
Big Escalade. It's a great nickname. Gabe, what do you think the ideal and probable offensive line is for the Green Bay Packers? If the Packers get everything they want, if all of these guys pop, if these guys are as good as they hope that they are, or as advertised, what do you think the offensive line looks like?
Well, again, if the Packers have their way, I think it's Jordan Morgan at left tackle, Banks at left guard, Elton at center. Probably Sean Ryan at right guard, and Zach Tom at right tackle. That way, Belton can kind of be a swing guy. He can be a depth piece that they trust, and they figure out where else they go from there. But you've got Walker, who's obviously started a bunch of games. If they had their preference, it's obvious that they don't want Walker to be their left tackle.
Why do you think that is? Oh, and by the way, Chewy called him Wallace earlier. I got people popping off on the old Carbless Tech talking text line.
Didn't even notice it.
Rashid?
He's done. Yeah, you've done it so many times, like you just let it go at this point.
Now there is a list of big so and so this isn't the first Big Escalade. We've had Big Greasy, Joe Sims, and we've had Big Creamy, Jerry Kraft. I don't know why they call them Big Creamy.
Okay, I don't want to
know why they call them Big Creamy.
I thought about asking Chew, but then I thought better of it, and I was just going to let it go.
Well, Frankie Boy was in town this weekend, and his name came up because you guys remember that he took out the driver's seat in his car and drove from sitting in the rear seat. Mm-hmm. That's how big that was. Yes. He was over $4 bills. He was like 4 something.
I do have a list here if anybody is interested of nicknames that have the word big in it. You want to hear it while before we go to break?
Sure.
Yeah.
Big Ben.
Yeah, that's bad.
Big Cat.
Yeah.
A couple of those.
This is a good nickname. Big Daddy. Dan Wilkinson. I don't know Dan Wilkinson, but Big Daddy was his nickname.
I'm not calling no one Big Daddy.
Correct.
But I wipe my own ass.
What about Gabe? Big Poppy?
Big Poppy's a good one.
David Ortiz. Well, that's only because you guys like Boston. All these other ones are decent as well. Scrolling.
Big Cat's kind of boring. There's 1,000 Big Cats.
I'll see if I can find any more. Those were the ones that popped right away with the word big in them for nickname. Big Escalade is pretty great, though. I really like it.
It's interesting to add big to Escalade because isn't Escalade implying large?
Yes. This is Escalade XL. It's as big as Escalades get, pal.
I'm just scrolling. Big Blue, but that is the New York Giants. That's about all I got on the old big. All right.
Okay.
Take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Lots of reaction rolling into everything we have talked about. But Chewy mentioned the cornerback situation that the Green Bay Packers find themselves in. What are they going to do? Who do they like? How does cornerback shake out in the 2025-2026 season for Green Bay? We'll discuss that right after this.
Doesn't matter what age you are, low testosterone can be an issue with any guy. That's where Mentality comes in. Local healthcare facility specifically dedicated to helping men feel and perform at their very best. So you've heard me talk about Mentality. You've heard me talk about how they help me. Well, how specifically do they? Well, if you're dealing with low testosterone, this is the best option for you. How do you know if you're dealing with low testosterone? It's easy. Are you tired, groggy? Just don't feel like yourself. Don't have that energy to attack your day that you did maybe a year, 2, 5 years ago. All could be signs of low testosterone. And it's easy to find out if it is. Book an appointment with Mentality. Go to their website, lowtusa.com. Go through a blood panel. Once they get that done, they get your results to you in about a week. If you have low testosterone, they will develop a customized testosterone treatment plan just for you so you can get back to feeling like you did years ago. Compete at work and sports like you did years ago as well. Go to the website, lowtusa.com. Mentality allows treatment to fit into every guy's lifestyle. Find out more about Mentality. It's easy, lowtusa.com.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
I've had a number of surgeries, and frankly, I don't have time to rehab a surgery and an operation at this point in my life. I didn't want to take time off my kids' activities.
That's why former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter turned to QC Kinetics. We couldn't be happier saving our patients like him from operating rooms and long recoveries.
I've been able to resume like normal activity for me, which is a lot of running. It's a lot of workouts. I've been very, very blessed with how it's been able to hold up.
For so long, patients have accepted surgery as the only solution. But with new technologies, the medical professionals at QC Kinetics use regenerative treatments, your body's own biologics, to help heal and restore knees, hips, shoulders, and backs.
I actually ran into a friend of mine over at our golf course, and he had his knee done. It felt so well. He'd got his shoulder done. He goes, I can't thank you enough. He'd heard the commercial on the air, and so it's feeling great.
Find out how you can avoid surgery and finally get relief. Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Evan Cohen here. When the draft clock is ticking, you've got to pick the best talent, regardless of position, to fit your team's needs. Well, if you're hiring for your business, you want to find the best talent for any of your roles. That's why you need ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter's powerful technology hustles to find qualified candidates for your job immediately. And if you see a standout candidate, ZipRecruiter lets you personally invite them to apply. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/USL. That's ZipRecruiter.com/USL.
The Bog in Saukville is Ozaki County's best golf experience. 18 championship holes designed by legendary golfer Arnold Palmer cater to golfers of all skill levels. Settled amongst over 250 acres of beautiful private land, the Bog offers a truly unforgettable golf experience. Play the finest greens of Wisconsin, and after your round, have a signature cocktail while enjoying our Friday fish fry from the clubhouse overlooking the 18th green. It's time to golf, Wisconsin. It's time to enjoy the Bog.
A Blaine's Farm and Fleet original story.
Why is everyone coming on their riding mowers and UTVs?
I figured all the neighbors could use a break from yard work, so I invited them for
a ride-on lawnmower movie?
Or, as I like to say, a movie.
We've got the value you need to do things your way, like a free $10 gift card for rewards members with an $80 estate fertilizer purchase, and Blaine's Golden Harvest Bird Food $12.99. Rewards members save an extra $1. Blaine's Farm and Fleet, being original.
They say seeing is believing. And when you check out what's waiting for you at American Place Casino, you'll definitely believe you'll love it. From thrilling gaming to top-notch service, we're changing the game. Come play all your favorites like blackjack, craps, roulette, and the latest slots. Catch a game at the sportsbook, enjoy great restaurants, bars, and more. If you're ready for excitement, exceptional service, and an experience you'll never forget, then we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game. Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
I'm telling you, don't doubt his story because he heebie-jeebies at certain times to miss field goals.
Yeah.
Gabe, I showed you how he does the heebie-jeebies, right?
Heebie-jeebie.
You take your fingers and you rub them back and forth on your thigh and you go heebie-jeebie, heebie-jeebie. Swear the guy bats 100%. So to call him a liar and he puts a curse on you?
Look, I'm not calling him a liar.
Yeah, you are.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Live listening, show replays, exclusive content. It is all on the new ESPN Wisconsin app. It's your state, it's your teams, it's your ESPN. The Wisconsin sports fans' best way to stay in touch with their favorite ESPN Wisconsin shows and keep up with their favorite teams. Find the new ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores right now.
Your everlasting summer, you can see it fading fast. So you grab a piece of...
A lot of big nicknames that we forgot, gang.
Well, you wouldn't even know it.
Chew, Randy Johnson.
Oh, big unit.
Kevin Garnett.
Big Celtic.
Nobody calls him the big ticket.
No?
No,
it's the first
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, he was always just KG.
I always think of the big toe when I think of Kevin Garnett. No, Kevin.
That was Kevin Durant.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Big Easy. Gabe knows this one.
So does Chewy. That's Chewy's guy.
That's New Orleans.
No, it's Ernie Els.
More confidence in him from you than just me.
He complains anytime we talk about golf. Well, how come Ernie Els isn't playing? Because the dude's 1,000 years old, man.
He's not 1,000. He's
Practically.
500. Just because he's tall and he's a golfer, Gabe, you can still like him.
Frank Thomas, Chew?
Big hurt.
Well, yes, these days he's big. But no, I'm kidding. He's got that mentality thing going on, so I think he's slimmed down. Frankie presents a good question to the panel here. He says, why is Big Papi okay, but Big Daddy isn't? It's the same thing. One is in Spanish.
Yeah, but I'm not saying the English word daddy out loud.
Yeah, mm-hmm. Exactly.
Not
I don't call him
anyone
Big
Daddy.
I don't call him. I call him Big Sloppus. Anyways, I didn't call him Big Papi.
You didn't? You
Big
called him
Sloppy.
Big Sloppy? All right.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
All right.
That's the big nickname.
Yeah, well, what? The big was never in contention.
Big is better than little, though, right? Nobody wants to call little something.
It depends. Depends upon the sport you're playing.
Lil Penny, but that was the little. That was
yeah.
Lil Penny.
That was a
No, I think
doll.
Lil's more for rappers.
Well, nothing's better than when somebody who's white gets on a microphone and says little. Wait, I believe, actually, didn't that happen this weekend?
Did it?
Who all was introduced?
Was Lil Wayne introduced as Lil Wayne?
Little Wayne.
Was he really?
Ladies and
That's
gentlemen,
terrible.
Little Wayne.
Number one.
Because it was like Clay Matthews, Mason Crosby, Randall Cobb, Jordy Nelson, and Little Wayne. I'm fairly certain.
But I thought he was a Steelers fan, not a Packers fan.
That's Wiz Khalifa.
Ah, damn it. I get him confused
In fairness,
all the time.
Lil Wayne did rip off Black and Yellow and made it Green and Yellow.
Yes.
So
That's
it
where I
was
got
the same
confused.
song, just by different guys.
That is confusing, Chew. I'm going to give you that
Yeah,
one. That does make a
okay.
lot of sense how you would confuse those two. All right, still a lot of stuff to get to on the show today. We're going to talk about that cornerback room. Still no resolution on the Jaire Alexander dilemma. We will tell you the latest on that, plus decide if they did enough to address that position. And then you've got the Shador Sanders thing and the prank call from this weekend. Did anybody see the clips from the Bill Belichick interview with 60 Minutes? Wild. Very, very wild. That's next. Stick around.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Eastbound 94, we've got ourselves a broken down vehicle off on the right shoulder right about at 27th Street, so watch out for that. We've also got delays basically from 92nd Street all the way to about 35th. The westbound side slowing down from 25th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. Delays now. Northbound 43 coming up and over the high-rise bridge through the Marquette up to Keefe. The southbound side is backing up from just before Hampton Avenue down past Burleigh. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast, a chance for storms. Some may be strong, otherwise warm and windy, a high of 75 at the lake, 81 inland. Tonight, a chance for showers or storms. Some of them may be strong again. Windy with the rain tapering off around daybreak, a low of 58. Access believes every home and business should be accessible to everyone. Independence should never be out of reach. Visit allaboutaccess.com to learn more. Access, removing barriers, advancing independence. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code BUY to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code BUY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
You're listening to 94.5 ESPN, WKTI and WKTI HD Milwaukee, a Good Karma Brands radio station. Showtime.
He asked me to pass a message along to all 32 NFL franchises. It says, my fellow Americans, the Bears still suck!
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
For the first time since 2002, draft a wide receiver. Matthew Golden.
Wow! There it is! For the first time since 2002, the Green Bay Packers have selected a wide receiver.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Goes to the end zone. It is a one-handed grab and a Texas touchdown by Matthew Golden.
You're setting up, pump it, and takes a shot, middle of the field. He's got Golden. Golden makes the catch despite getting hit as the ball arrived by Terrell.
To stay alive, can they hook him? Touchdown, Matthew Golden.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
So clearly he saw some sort of deficiency within that wide receiver room, and now he goes out and addresses it here. I think Packer fans everywhere are going to be thrilled with this pick.
Now broadcasting live from the shadow of Lambeau Field in Green Bay at the Tundra Trio with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamora. Here's Jen Latta.
Running her mouth, she wants to ride it, she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight, he ain't doing.
In the NFL draft this past weekend, the Green Bay Packers addressed wide receiver not once but twice, offensive line not once but twice, defensive end not once but twice, defensive tackle once, and cornerback once in the 6th round or 7th round?
7th.
Micah Robinson in the 7th round. Out of Tulane, which made Chewy wonder about what the plan is at cornerback. We have mentioned ad nausea the Jaire Alexander is not resolved situation, and Brian Gutekunst did talk about it again, basically saying again the same thing, like he's currently on the roster and we are proceeding as such right now. Basically, as long as he's on the roster right now, he's on the roster, but it doesn't feel like he is long for that world, Gabe.
It does not feel like it. The way that he consistently talks about it, I don't understand why sure, if you wait until after June 1st to release him, you save more money on the cap this year, but they already have $31 million under the cap. Now that'll go down after they sign this draft class, but it's not a big draft class. It's one of the smaller ones Brian Gutekunst has ever had. They have plenty of cap space to do all the things they still want to do this offseason, like extend Zach Tom. So it's not like they need that money. Just cut him now, take all the dead cap that you would have to this year and move on. I have no idea what they're doing and why he was not released yesterday after all the draft proceedings happened, and it was obvious that you were not getting a draft pick for him.
Chew?
Did he talk if there's any serious consideration as to moving him? Another team calling? Nothing?
Doesn't seem
like
it.
Nothing at all.
Well, because, I mean, again, there was serious interest, I think, before the draft, Chew, but Jaire Alexander and his representatives let it be known, I'm not negotiating with anyone.
Yeah.
I'm not going to renegotiate my deal with anyone, so that kind of killed any sort of, interest or momentum that any team would have had.
I think it's also important to add to, after he was at virtual minicamp or whatever they got going on because the draft is there, and he said he's still on the team. He was asked specifically if that means he'll be on the future, and he did not say that was the case.
So how many guys do they have that can play? 3?
Well, he added Hobbs this offseason.
Yep.
You like
Keyshawn. That's 2. Yeah.
Carrington Valentine.
I was going to say you like Valentine.
3. You need more than 3.
Mm-hmm.
You need more than 3.
But also, Chew, I think you have to consider that the safety position, they feel pretty comfortable in dropping any one of those guys down into the slot as well. They did that a lot with Evan Williams last year, so they can kind of cover that position up.
At times, Bullard was the main slot corner. When Williams was healthy, they were basically playing Bullard in that position because Jaire wasn't on the field, as he hasn't been for the past 4 seasons.
Okay. All right, because that's how offensive coordinators approach game plans. Is our third receiver better than their nickel?
Mm-hmm.
Is our fourth receiver better than their dime? I think you need one more player, which is like, you think it's a definite that they're going to cut him?
I can't imagine at this point, Chew. The way that Brian Gutekunst has basically just advertised that they don't want him on the team, I can't imagine that they somehow make good with him.
Well, then they're holding on to him for spite, if that's going to be June 1. Because
maybe.
What's the savings?
If they do it after June 1, it's 17. If they do it before, it's like 6.5.
So why not wait?
Because what do you need the money for? It's not like you're going to be spending the money, and then you have to take a dead cap hit again next year, like some this year and next year.
Yeah.
Or you could just take all of that dead cap hit this year, save the $6.5 million, and not worry about it in 26.
Okay.
With everything that they did, which is not a lot, Hobbs and Robinson, which sounds like a buddy cop movie, actually. Hobbs and Robinson, if you add those two, is cornerback still the weakest spot on this roster, gang?
Still not a big fan of the defensive line.
Yeah, I'm not huge on the defensive line. Even though everyone is talking up this Sorrell, saying he was a steal from everything I'm reading. But you know what I liked? I like how Goody fired shots at positions. Like the receiver position, they turned around and took another kid in the 3rd round.
That's you talk about carpet bagging, right? Isn't that what you used to call it, carpet bagging?
But that's like a shot to the receiver room saying, hey, you guys that were here the last 2-3 years, don't get comfortable.
100%.
Yeah.
Could not agree more.
Yes.
Not good enough. Guys didn't hold up your end of the donkey, especially after Goody went out there and was talking about how these guys are going to have opportunities, right? You got to seize the opportunity. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a chance here to emerge. Somebody's going to have a shot to. And at the end of the season, he looked around and went, well, nobody did. So I got to go out and I got to supplement.
Basically signals the end of Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson at the end of the year.
Really?
I think as well. Yeah. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. By drafting both. Had they not taken a receiver again in the 3rd round, I think there would have been a chance for Christian Watson. Yeah. Especially if Watson played well coming off the injury. Maybe you sign him to a shorter term deal and you're able to get a little bit of steal there. But I think by drafting both of these guys that high, both those guys are gone next year.
Do you think that Savion Williams is similar to Christian Watson?
No.
Not as fast.
He's a big guy.
He's 6'5".
I don't think he's as fast, but he's a big guy.
That's the size is the thing that I was pointing to.
Yeah.
Again, he's not as fast.
Yeah, I see him being more of like the kick returner this year. He was somebody that TCU used a lot Cordero Patterson is the comp that was thrown around because he had 6 rushing touchdowns this year, and he would line up in the backfield, and they would just straight up hand it off to him.
To the point I made earlier, versatility.
Yeah.
Packers love it.
Just straight up hand him the ball in the backfield. So I think, especially with the new kickoff rules, that he is your leading candidate to return kicks. I don't know about punts, but
okay. Give me the 6 receivers that are on the roster day one.
Well, Matthew Golden,
because your third round pick, your third round pick, he ain't going to the practice squad.
No.
So yeah, I would say.
So he'll be on the roster. So you have 2. Out of who they have right now, who are the 4 that are going to be around?
I would bet the Reed. I mean, again, unless Dobbs incredibly pouts again and just completely gives up, I mean, he's going to be on the roster. So Reed, Dobbs, Wicks, and then it's a 3-person race between Melton, Hardman, and Heath. So Melton, Hardman, and Heath are basically playing for one spot. I mean, maybe if one of them they feel is really contributing on special teams, they can carry 7 receivers, and that means you got to, short obviously another position.
Well, and we think Hardman is going to be special teams, right?
I mean, I don't think it's guaranteed he's on this roster after what they drafted.
Yeah, those guys can do what he does.
But Watson will be on some kind of list at the beginning of the season.
Well, yeah, he'll be
on
on
what it is.
Yeah, correct.
The pup.
Yeah, physically unable to perform.
So you think he's gone? I don't think he's gone. Watson?
I think it's more likely than not, based on just the style of wide receiver. Like, they've got their speed now with Golden. That's done. The interesting thing also is Savion Williams sort of frees up to get Reed out of that gadgety stuff and sort of make him more a true slot wide receiver than the backfield stuff. Because, I mean, if you believe in him that much and he can get better, you're not wasting snaps on him just doing flare outs and being a distraction. They got multiple. That's really they got a lot of options, a lot of different looks there in the wide receiver room now.
2 little stories to tell. One, I just read on Packers.com that these 2 wide receivers that the Packers picked actually spent some time together. Did you guys see that Savion hosted Golden for a recruiting visit at TCU? So when Golden was deciding where he wanted to go to school, he hosted him.
Must be a bad recruiter.
As a recruiting visit. He ultimately ended up choosing Houston, which most people don't remember. He went to Houston before he transferred to Texas. That's a cute little nugget. So those 2 know each other from back in the day. And then we were at an event this week, and Gabe, I know that you were there as well, and Adam Schefter told a room full of people that he believes that Brian Gutekunst wanted the offensive lineman shoe that you liked. Do you remember his name? Defensive lineman, thank you very much.
Harmon?
Derek Harmon out of Oregon. But he went 21st to the Steelers, and therefore Goody had to pivot to the next guy on his board, which was Matthew Golden. Matt LaFleur was a huge fan of his, and so that in that way they were in alignment. But had Derek Harmon been there at 23, they would have likely added the defensive lineman out of Oregon instead of Matthew Golden. So again, when we were having the conversations headed into the NFL draft, we kept saying, you can like whoever you want, you can want whoever you want, but you are very much beholden to whoever is still there when your team is on the clock. So we are saying they are done at cornerback. You don't think that they can still make any moves, right? This is the end. This is who you got.
I mean, it's very peripheral moves.
Yeah, depth.
Yeah,
Robert Rochelle type players.
Yeah, that when he's somebody is out there because of injury. Where'd this guy come from? And then you start doing your research. I don't see a big splash move. There's nobody necessarily out there, and I mean, to your point, Jen, I think that's kind of what happened to them at the cornerback position as well.
Correct.
Where, okay, maybe they would have liked to take one earlier, but that's just not how the board fell. So, they end up going offensive lineman and really investing in the wide receiver position as well.
I do think it is informative, though, that there were options that were rumored to be first-round eligible picks, and the Packers have no problem going against what the consensus is. So plenty of guys who were talked about as first-rounders ended up going after or into the second round, and sometimes even later. If the Packers like a guy enough, they're taking him. It's that simple to me. So I think they airmailed, and they told us all, you guys might not like what we have in the cornerback room, but we do. And we trust Jeff Hafley, which I think is also extremely informative.
Let me see if I'm following what you're saying. You're saying that when they had the opportunity to pick in the 3rd round, there were still cornerbacks on the board that the league consensus was were better than third-round talent that the Packers decided to forego because they weren't their guys. They didn't want them. Is that right? Am I reading you correctly?
Yes. I think at all 3 picks, they had options. If they wanted to, if they viewed that position as a priority, they would have done it. I don't think it was simply a matter of how the board fell. I think they told us, we like what we got here, and we trust Jeff Hafley with the room we have there.
Josh, was Williams on your radar?
Savion Williams? Yes. Yes, he was.
He was?
Yes.
You know what this tells me? What it really tells me? It's kind of funny. Is Goody's pissed at the receiver room?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very.
Yeah. Wouldn't you be? I
mean,
trusted you idiots to make me look good last year.
Yeah, he's pissed. He's not happy.
I thought fourth, fifth was the highest, and even then I would have been sort of surprised. To double attack that position with your... I mean, those are your premium picks.
Yes, those
are the ones everyone looks at and goes,
yeah, 1, 2, 3.
These are people we want as contributors consistently. And they went at it. What it told us is nobody's spot's guaranteed. They're coming for all of you.
Mm-hmm.
How would we have felt if they did draft Harmon?
Not as excited as if they drafted Golden.
Yeah,
because it's just not an exciting position.
The moment.
I don't think anybody would have been mad about it.
No.
But there
it was like the wet T-shirt contest in Dubuque.
Okay,
it's fine.
enough.
I mean, it's still a contest, but
I thought we were talking.
I know. And to be honest, I thought boobs were boobs, man. I gotta tell you, I didn't know that Dubuque boobs were less attractive than Miami boobs. But
the 2 things they told us were they don't think their defensive tackles nor their wide receivers were any good last year, or good enough. Because I mean,
how does that tie into boobs?
Not at all. I'm trying to get us back onto talking about what we're doing here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
task
we're
at
moving
hand.
Talking about
task
Paul.
at hand.
Okay.
Talking about the biggest event of the weekend.
Chesty LaRue.
Yeah, I want.
I'm just going to turn him off at this point.
Yeah, at this point, it's your fault.
Yeah.
You have control.
See, what I did was I distracted us, and he said, wait, but I want to still talk about boobs.
Yep.
That was basically what happened there.
Correct. Yeah, you tried to
Monday.
distract him with this over here. He wasn't distracted because now his thought is on one thing and one thing only.
maybe that could be a new catchphrase for the show. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, boobs and balls. You got a chuckle out of him. We'll take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Still a lot of stuff we want to get to today. We will continue recapping the draft. A lot of reaction rolling in. We talked about Dame Lillard at the beginning of the show, asking you, was the trade of Dame Lillard a failure given everything that has shaken out and if he has played his last minute for the Milwaukee Bucks? So you can go ahead and weigh in on that. Our conversation was in the first segment of the show. You can find that on our ESPN Wisconsin app. That's where we push all of our content as well. Okay, want to still get to the Shador Sanders conversation? Want to get to this Bill Belichick wild interview that aired on 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes, not TMZ, not any of these wacko wild things you see. 60 bleeping...
It was just a CBS Morning.
Oh, I thought it was a 60 Minutes interview.
We didn't have the clock. We didn't have you put under pressure. It was just, come tell us about your book, brother.
Little breezy Sunday morning conversation.
Come sell your book to the people of CBS.
I love that you said the clock, and I immediately knew what you meant.
Yeah. Because that's when stuff gets serious.
Right. You're right. Yeah, we're talking about wars and stuff.
Yeah. Sunday morning, you're just having your coffee. You want to, just learn about the lighter side of the news.
We'll talk about that as the show rolls on. Stick around.
There was so much buzz going into the draft, and coming out of the draft, still so much buzz surrounding the draft. But when you go to Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, you'll never find a draft seeping through their windows and doors. In fact, Pella should always be your number one pick. We love Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin here at ESPN Milwaukee, and it's easy to see why. Take advantage right now. No interest financing options, free glass upgrades, and with the talented team over at Pella, it's kind of what separates them, I think, from a lot of different people. Their talented designers, installers can match your unique home through seamless customizations. They got plenty of options for you over at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Certain restrictions do apply. Deal does end April 30th, so place your free in-home consultation today at PellaWI.com.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Needing a bit of a backup on northbound 41. Yeah, you're riding those brakes from Wisconsin Avenue all the way up past Capitol Drive, almost to Silver Spring. So give yourself that extra time. The southbound side backing up from just just before Good Hope Road, all the way down to Silver Spring. Northbound on 43, that is slowing down from before Fond du Lac Avenue all the way up to Keefe. The southbound side just past Capitol Drive down towards Burleigh. We've also got those backups on northbound 4394, right around the playing field curve all the way up to Chase. So give yourself that extra time as well. Summer's around the corner. Get ready for boating, fishing, and paddleboarding on serene Delavan Lake. Make the most of the season at Lake Lawn Resort. Book your adventure today at lakelawnresort.com. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Chance of storms. Some of them may be strong, otherwise warm and windy. A high of 75 at the lake, 81 inland. Tonight, chance for showers and storms. Some of them also may be strong. Windy with rain tapering off around daybreak, a low of 58. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Mother's Day is almost here, and I've been thinking a lot about all the times my mom went out of her way just to make me happy. Honestly, I've lost count. All of the pickups from practice, help with the homework, the home-cooked meals. My mom is the best. That's why this year I'm returning the favor with the bouquet from the Books Company. And I got you 25% off of your order so you can send some happiness to your moms, too. Books aren't just any flowers. Their flowers are cut fresh from the best farms, so they're bigger, brighter, and last way longer. Some are even grown on the side of a volcano. Wow mom with a bright, happy bouquet, or go for the Books Flower subscription so she can get fresh blooms and major joy on repeat. It's also really easy. I pick my bouquet, delivery date, and done. And with 25% off, why stop with mom? Grab some for your wife, your auntie, and even grandma too. Mother's Day is May 11th, so hurry and order your Books now. Go to Books.com, use promo code Canty to get 25% off. That's BOUQS.com, promo code Canty. Books, promo code Canty.
Whether you're a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel, conveniently located in the heart of downtown Milwaukee's Theater District. With deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, and nightly live music, you'll enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. For a limited time, enjoy exclusive seasonal rates starting at $139. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com.
Looking to transform your home with stylish furniture and home accessories without breaking the bank? At your local IKEA in Oak Creek, they believe everyone deserves a beautiful and affordable living experience that enhances your everyday life. From comfortable and fashionable sofas and sectionals, to kitchens full of inspiration, to bedrooms designed to help you find your best sleep and relaxation, IKEA's home furnishing combines form and function to fit any lifestyle and budget. Visit IKEA Oak Creek today or explore their collection online at ikea.com/US.
Hey, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Buying a roof, siding, or windows can feel overwhelming. Hidden costs, confusing contracts. We don't play that game. We educate you so that you can decide. And when you know the facts, Infinity Exteriors is the clear choice. Since 1997, we've installed peace of mind with no surprise upcharges, flexible budgets, and immediate financing. Infinity Exteriors, saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
What's the one thing you say almost weekly here on the show?
Less eat.
Try again.
I don't know.
What's the one thing you've got?
Big boobs.
You've got time.
Oh, time.
You've got time.
Yes. Yeah, you're right.
We got there.
Took off. I needed a few more hints.
Yeah. You put you in a... That's Gabe's fault.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Bill Belichick has a new book coming out. It's called The Art of Winning, Lessons from My Life in Football. I gotta be honest, guys. I would read a book that Bill Belichick wrote about winning. No? I mean, come on, he's got a lot of experience in that space.
I mean, if I'm looking to catch some Z's, maybe. Well, there's no way it's going to be interesting and entertaining. It's going to be boring as all get
It's not going to be an audio book. It's not like he's going to be reading it to you. Like,
but like
in 1976, I married my wife. Like, it's
just imagine that voice, but just on paper.
I think
That's all you're going to think of, too, when you read, like, quotes from him? This is not going to be good.
I'm more likely to use the Bill Belichick story to light a fire in my house than I am to read that book.
You're going to buy a book, and then you're going to rip up the book, and you're going to use
Kindling.
it as kindling in your fireplace. All right, okay. And now Joshy all of a sudden is making the big bucks, apparently.
And to really make sure that you win, here's how you cheat.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, should have known. Talking to a bunch of Boston. Oh, you're only a Red Sox fan, right?
Yeah.
Chewy's from the. Yeah. Okay.
Well, and also, like, if we're taking shots at him, like, wouldn't we be defending him? Took a shot at he's a cheater.
Yeah, I kind of respect it.
That he was cheating, the whole "if you're not cheating, you're not trying" mentality.
He didn't get caught. And Brady was the cheater, not Belichick.
He got caught
So wipe that one.
videotaping practice.
He was confused.
Well, this is not the direction I was expecting this to go, a trial of Bill Belichick, whether or not he cheated. I want to talk about this interview that he did. I swore it was for 60 Minutes, but apparently it was just for CBS Sunday Morning. So it's supposed to be a lighthearted interview, getting to know the author / this incredible coach, Bill Belichick, a little bit better. But here is an exchange that has gotten an awful lot of traction in the last few days.
The other change for Belichick is 24-year-old Jordan
seeing the
Hudson,
video.
his creative muse, as he writes in his book. Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there.
Josh, you want to take a minute?
Everybody in the world seems to be following this relationship.
Work on the technical
They've got an opinion
difficulties.
about your private
but
life. He's got
essentially,
nothing.
and we will play the whole thing for you, Bill is sitting in the interviewee chair. There is a gentleman sitting in the interviewer chair. He's not asking pressing questions. They're not very invasive. They're not very probing. He is just asking, about his relationship with Jordan, his new girlfriend, who, by the way, looks like the sea witch from The Little Mermaid when she changed into the human form. Okay, and there is no debating that. You will not convince me that is not what she looks like.
Do with them, but they're invested in it. How do you deal with that?
Never been too worried about what everybody else thinks. Just try to do what I feel like is best for me and what's right.
How did you guys meet?
Not talking about this.
No?
No.
It's a topic neither one of them is comfortable commenting on, though Hudson has recently posted about it on Instagram.
You joined InstaFace, as you put it. I love that. There's some great pictures of you and Jordan, where you're a fisherman and she's a mermaid. It's charming. It's a different side of you. What's the reaction been like?
What's it been like?
To have these different sort of photos. There's another one where you're doing, I know you're not into meditation or yoga or Pilates. You're balancing Jordan on your feet. She's doing kind of the Titanic pose.
Yeah, so I'm on some of those social media platforms, but I honestly don't follow them.
What he does follow isn't. The other change for Belichick is 24-year-old Jordan Hudson.
So now Josh is starting the interview over, but you heard the point
as he
where,
writes in his
Josh,
book.
you can take it down. You heard the point where he asked the
Jordan
question,
was
how did you meet? And she says from the side, she's sitting there, she's looking at the monitor, she's watching the interview through the monitor, and she says, we're not talking about that. And people are like, whoa. Is this woman puppet mastering Bill Belichick?
Yes. Haven't you seen the video? Have you seen the video of her at practice? Where he's in his coaching mode, middle of the field, offense, defense, and she's walking up to him and what do we do?
We missed the start of it, and I didn't restart it properly, but they start the portion about Jordan as saying she was a constant presence in the interview, and then it starts up where we heard with the question about them being in a relationship, people caring about it, and then her shutting down from the corner, watching over the whole thing, saying, we're not addressing that.
There's a little bit of a blink 3 times if you need help, Bill, happening here, honestly. I'm not saying that flippantly. I'm saying, he looks like he is in a very uncomfortable situation where she is producing
That's just his face.
the segment from the side, Gabe. You didn't find this bizarre?
No, the whole thing's been bizarre. What are you going to add more bizarre on top of the already bizarre things that are happening? I think it would have been more bizarre if she actually let him answer the question. That's how the whole, relationship has gone.
How do women look at that? Because guys look at it totally differently.
Well, how do guys look at it?
You know exactly.
I've heard a lot of. Well, good for him.
There's 50.
That's it.
Yeah.
Good for him is the reaction.
Yes. Yeah.
I think the thing that really hasn't gone talked about is Bill Belichick would mock this 10 years ago. He would say this isn't serious. They don't know what they're doing over there. He had a falling out with Tom Brady because Alex Guerrero was around too much.
Yeah.
And now she's calling the shots on what questions he answers. She's walking onto the field on practice and getting CC'd on emails. Like, this is so not him.
It's like 74, 75.
Okay, so let's just put it through the equation here. So 74 in half.
Yeah, no, it doesn't come close, Chew.
37 plus 7. So he is allowed to date 43-year-old. And he's currently dating
24.
a 24.
What I'm questioning is, here, I'll speak to it from an interviewer standpoint, okay?
Yes.
I'll speak to it from somebody who has sat in that chair that this reporter, Tony, was sitting in. Clear the room. And maybe the thought process is you don't get Bill Belichick unless Jordan is in the room. But our first position would be we need to clear the room. And then if she was like, well, we're not doing the interview, then we could, have a conversation. But unless it was agreed upon going into it that she/they, the subject, had editorial rights or producing rights or final say rights, which you have to have that conversation had going into it, you can't tell us what to air. And that's, I think, what Tony and company, the producers, were trying to do by saying, what was the line that you used, Jossie?
A constant presence.
She was
throughout the
a
interview.
constant presence throughout the interview. He was trying to say, hey, this is how it was, and putting it out there so that he was sort of...
During our interview, he writes in his book.
Make sure that that's the...
Jordan was a constant presence during our interview.
You have Jordan right over there.
Constant presence.
Who's right over there is the other, these are not unintentional drop-ins.
This was supposed to be how, again.
No, but is this a gotcha interview?
I don't think that was the intent, but I think
don't think so?
I think with the way it went and the way it happened, they went out of their way to make sure everybody knew there was a looming presence over the entirety of the interview.
Because again, Chewy, you flip through the channels on a Sunday morning, you've stumbled across what's on, CBS Sunday morning or today or whatever.
Yes.
Like Chewy, like Josh said earlier, it's a puff piece. It's just supposed to be, hey, here's a famous dude. He's got a book about winning out. Let's talk to him. And instead, instead of that, it ends up being, hey, how weird is this relationship? Because you won't let him answer any questions.
Well, but I think the other line of thinking is, what could the worst possible way that they met be? Right. Now you open things up to speculation. Jason talks about this all the time, right? With when the Green Bay Packers handle things a certain way, and he's like, the more information we have, not saying that you owe us information, but there has to be a realization that when you don't provide the information, even a smidge of information, then people start to speculate and people start to come up with their own theories. I assume they met online. I just assume it. And is there anything wrong with in 2025 meeting your significant other online? No.
The company line, I believe, is that they met on an airplane. That she was sitting next to him on an airplane, and that's how they met.
Yeah, but let me just say this. You're dating someone 50-something years younger than you. You take heat. Sorry, Bill. You're not Teflon here. Am I right?
I guess you can take heat. I don't really care. It doesn't bother me who you date, is it? I think what's more interesting is how she has sort of inserted herself into all of these things that have for decades been Bill Belichick exclusives. Bill Belichick was the GM and the head coach for a time period in New England because he wanted to have his hands on all of the things. But now that he's over at North Carolina, he's relinquishing the control. He is handing the reins over to her to handle some of these communications, some of these other decisions. That, to me, is the biggest pivot. That, to me, is the 180.
Yes.
Is this guy who was notoriously a control freak and thought he knew best about all of the things, especially football related, is now going, well, what do you think, honey? Well, what do you think, honey? That's the wild part.
You don't even get to ask the question. She's getting the opinion out there before he goes, hey, what do you think? He doesn't even have to ask the question because she's going to let everybody know what
I
she
tell
thinks.
you what, man. I think North Carolina's in for a bad, bad season. I think take the under. I don't even know what it is. Wins, losses. 8 under. I'm throwing that out there. This is not actual gambling advice. This is more of like, can you imagine, Joshy, a situation where this ends up working out?
I didn't think it was going to from the start. And then seeing how things have played out, some of the people he's involved in that program, people who the NFL has had chances to time and time again make part of their franchise or their front office, and they have chosen not to. So to me, it was doomed from the. And then, like, what is he doing here? Is he just a figurehead? And that, like, everyone else is running things? I can't make sense of it. And I do want to reiterate his choice of constant present. Jen, you know this extremely well. Those words are very thought of. The voiceover portions of that stuff, he didn't flippantly say constant
They're
presence.
deliberated. They're pushed through. Somebody writes it, then it goes through a producer, then it goes through an executive. Like you go through every single piece of a piece like this. Are we saying the right thing? Is there a better phrase? Is there a different phrase? So yes, that was poured over and included in the final version.
And it was intentional.
Just in case you were wondering, the number over at Potawatomi Sportsbook is 7.5 for North Carolina.
Ooh, that's a tricky one, but yes.
Do you think if they get married, his son, the D coordinator, is going to have to call her mom on the field?
I don't think so.
I'm going to go ahead and say no. I'm going to say no to that one. Yes.
What if Bill wants him to? You respect your mother. And the kid's got to be, what, 40?
Oh, yes. Kids are in the 40s and 30s. Let's see. Ronnie in the 262 says, I think she has dirt on him and he's petrified. Ryan from McGuanago says, isn't she the one handling the one-on-one recruiting visits? ? That's a joke, I'm pretty sure. I don't think she's handling the recruiting visits. She is more of a look at me than Shador Sanders. Meanwhile, Chef Ed wants the world to know that he's 66 and he still flirts with the young ladies. Just putting that out there for Chef
for
Ed.
you, Chef?
Chef, how did you meet? Well, I said on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy that I still flirt with the young ladies. And again, I don't think people care. I mean, it's a fun question. How'd you two meet? I sometimes say that to people when I don't know what else to say in conversation. So how did you guys meet, right? Mm-hmm. It's innocuous. It's innocent. There's nothing there, and we're not talking about that. Well, now it raises all sorts of eyebrows. You know, when you shut down the conversation, that tends to be more salacious, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, right, because if it is just the story that they've given us, why wouldn't you answer it?
Right, airplane.
We met on an airplane. We're sitting next to each other. At very least, that isn't the full way that happened.
Now, question, sly like a fox chew. Is there any part of you that feels like this is all strategic to get people talking about his book? There's zero chance beyond this interview we would be talking about Bill Belichick's book this morning in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
We've talked about his book?
Yeah, I'm going to use a kindling.
No, I think the question could have been anything. She just wanted everyone in that room to know she's in control here.
Fair.
Right?
Right, because there's a level here of, like, how is a good way to say this? What could possibly have gone wrong, and why does she feel it necessary to? And, like, are we attributing her with being a marketing mastermind? That even though this is being received negative, she's now so good that by denying that question in the moment was going to then raise the attention to the book coming out even more?
No, because again, you would have to carry yourself in such a way. You would have to do this consistently and continually throughout the duration of the production in order for the reporter to feel it important to put it in the piece.
Yes.
Right?
So I don't think she intended it to be noted.
Yeah, but does this whole thing hurt him recruiting-wise? I mean, because there are parents going, I ain't sending you to there. The guy's a perv.
I mean,
that's not exactly the way I was taking it.
No, but I mean, Chewy,
you don't think so? I guarantee there are parents out there going, nope, not for me.
How much are they paying you? Is the first question to any of these colleges right now?
Well, yeah, now
that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, maybe 10 years ago, Chew. Now, I don't think it hurts them. If they got the money, to pay, players aren't going to care.
I guess. I don't know. I think it's fair. Everyone asked, I mean, would you let your son play for Bobby Knight? And there's a lot of people that say no way.
And there's a lot of people that would say absolutely.
And there's a lot of people that would say how much.
I also, I think if it's anything, they're asking who's in actual control there.
Yeah.
More so
Who's running the show?
Right. Because everyone.
Because if you go to UNC, Joshy, to your point, you're going for Bill Belichick.
Yes.
You want to be coached by Bill Belichick, one of the greatest to ever do it. And if you're wondering if he's a shell of his former self, no, thank you.
Because I'm sure there's plenty of kids who are going to be able to get similar things, similar places in terms of NIL money. And what we all thought was going to be the great equalizer of, well, this is Bill Belichick. I'll take $50K less because
tip the scales. Yes.
The greatest coach ever is going to be. And now people are looking at it and going, well, is he going to be turning kids into the NFL players like we all expected? We don't know. There's questions.
Let me give you the schedule really quick. UNC, Clemson, Cal, Virginia, Syracuse, Stanford, Wake Forest, Duke, NC State. Let me rethink.
Yeah, there's 7 wins in there easily.
God, does the ACC suck at football?
They're so bad. It's ridiculous.
Just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Hey, shout out to DJ Uiagalelei, though, who landed an undrafted free agent contract with the Chargers this weekend. Joshy said they should send you a hat.
No, Gabe, I think.
Oh, Gabe said they should send you a hat. DJ Uiagalelei, are you serious right now?
Maybe a powder blue.
The only reason
DJ ukulele powder blue jersey coming your way?
100%. I deserve it. If you look at those Google spots where it talks, like, where is DJ Uiagalelei spoken about the most, right? Well, of course, it would be Clemson. And, of course, it would be, he was at Oregon State?
Oregon State, Florida State.
Milwaukee. What? Why all of a sudden does this guy have such a spike in Milwaukee? Well,
I don't know if there'd be a
that.
spike because none of us can spell the name. How would we even go about finding it?
Do you think Google knows when you're trying to spell?
I think if you type in DJU, it's going to pop up.
Or maybe that's a place where people go to learn about the ones and twos. Gabe, I don't know. We'll take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Still want to get to the Shador Sanders situation this weekend, including the prank call that now people are calling for consequences. Punishment! Punish the kid. We'll talk about that right after this.
Hey, ESPN Milwaukee listeners, Josh DiMaggio here from my new friends at Wanna Parlay. That's WANNA. I downloaded the Wanna Parlay app on my phone, and it is so much fun. You can compete against me and all the other Jen, Gabe, and Chewy listeners to see who can combine a few picks and build the best parlay. It's just $2 for a shot at taking home a huge cash prize. It's a blast and so simple to use. There are new basketball, hockey, baseball, and combat sports contests every single week. And the best part, it's only $2 to enter a parlay into a contest. Here's what you should do. Download the Wanna Parlay app, and if you decide to add money to play and get into the action, use promo code JGC for a 100% deposit match up to $250. Download the Wanna Parlay app, use promo code JJC, and let's play the world's richest parlay today. Must be 18 years or older to play. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER today.
Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today. More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Backups along northbound 41 from Blue Mount Road, pretty much all the way up past Capitol Drive. Give yourself tons of time. The southbound side's backing up from just before Good Hope Road all the way down past Appleton as well. Northbound 43 backing up from before Fond du Lac Avenue to Keefe. Southbound slow from just before Capitol Drive down to Burleigh. And eastbound 94, that's got some traffic to it. 76th Street all the way to 35th. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. A chance of storms today. Some of them may be strong. Otherwise warm and windy. A high of 75 at the lake, 81 inland. Tonight, a chance of showers or storms. Some strong. Windy with rain tapering off right around daybreak. A low of 58. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Turn your driveway into the basketball court of your dreams with Precision Sports, Southeastern Wisconsin's dealer for Mega Slam, Ironclad, and Dominator hoop systems. From installation to customizable painted court lines, Precision Sports is a slam dunk. PrecisionSportsOnline.com.
Progressive knows sports brings people together, but you gotta feel bad for people who don't even get it. Some people will never know what it's like to see their favorite team's hopes decided by a ping pong ball to draft the next superstar. Or not. I mean, sure, it's silly for your happiness to hinge on the success of a 20-year-old entry-level employee, but you just can't help yourself. The stress is exhilarating. Progressive can't bring people together like the draft, but we can bring your home and auto insurance together with a bundle. So switch and see if you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
Military veterans and active duty service members, you could become a certified cyber warrior with just 12 weeks of training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, and IT pros with these skills often enjoy abundant opportunity and a great lifestyle. Protect our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them. The right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Jen Latta. You've heard me talk about my community, so you know that local means something to me. And it means something to Great Midwest Bank as well. But what exactly does it mean to be a local bank? GMB understands community because they're part of it. Employees live here, and customers, well, they're just neighbors. Great Midwest Bank offers customized products that others just can't offer. Over 90 years of being a proud part of your community. Great Midwest Bank. Simply giving, simply local.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
What operating system does a Chewy computer run on?
I believe it's a Cat 14.
It's a COS. It's a Chewy operating system.
I was thinking Windows 98.
Yeah, very similar.
It's dial-up. Let me get my modem.
Chewy.
On 94.5 ESPN.
The quarterback room for the Cleveland Browns currently includes Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, who Gabe has thoughts about, and Shador Sanders, who was finally picked late this weekend. What was it, 5th round, guys? Was he a 5th round pick?
Hold on, I want to do something here quick. Can you reread that list of names?
Absolutely. The Cleveland Browns quarterback room currently consists of Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, and Shador Sanders. Yeah, it's not great. It's not even good. It is weird. Wild was the word that I used this weekend. Absolutely wild, which I used for the Bill Belichick conversation as well. So Shador Sanders finally gets drafted in the 5th round this weekend. An epic fall, if you believe that he was a top 3 pick. Still an epic fall if you believe he was a 1st or 2nd rounder, which is what more, I think, of the general thought was. Look, Shador Sanders was a guy who a lot of people were like, there's a lot of hype around him, right? He doesn't have an agent. He's obviously Deion's kid. He had his number/name retired at Colorado the weekend before the draft, which was also weird. His dad kind of tucked him in with Travis Hunter, the Heisman Trophy winner, who went number 2 overall to Jacksonville. And then he finally got drafted. But in the meantime, he also got pranked. There was a story this weekend, Shu, I'm sure you saw it, about some kids who got Shador's phone number, prank called him, pretending to be front office/GM of, I believe it was the Jets, if I'm not mistaken. Doesn't matter, but I think it was the Jets. And now people are saying that the kid should be punished. How did he get the number? Oh, he happens to be the kid of the defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons. whoopsies. Apparently they left the number out or whatever, kids being kids. They did a little digging and found it. And so now people are saying that there should be punishments attached to the prank. What was your overall reaction to this prank from this weekend on Shador Sanders?
Thought it was kind of funny. Sounds like something my kids would do. But it also happened. Did you guys see it happen to the tight end out of Penn State, Tyler Warren?
Yep. Said same number.
It happened to him as well. So they just got to be more secure with the numbers, I guess. Big deal. You? How are you going to punish him? Ground him?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I mean, his dad's going to be mad at him. Like, there's the reaction to it has been strong. Is this it's not a good move by the kid, right? Like,
correct.
It's
no.
Bonehead.
Yeah, no, it's not a great move by the kid. I just don't know what you do. Yeah, what?
It's not a great move by the kid for the. Pranks are funny, right? I think, again, they can cross the line, but it's not a good move for the kid because you put your dad in the crosshairs, man. Like, whatever you think of Shador Sanders, you got the number from your dad's confidential iPad paperwork, however it is that it was distributed. Like, that puts his livelihood, his job security at risk. That's why it's a boneheaded move, to say nothing of, like, affecting Shador Sanders' big day, affecting, what could be one of the most significant days of his life, not recognizing how important the draft process/draft is. Man, what are you doing to your dad? Like, that's where I was like, come on, you got to think. That was my initial reaction to it, not, oh, man, I hope Shador Sanders is okay.
Yeah, it's not a great, it wasn't that funny. Whatever, he had a good time. But, yeah, you're not putting anybody in a good spot. But also, what is the NFL supposed to do? The NFL has no control over Jeff Ulbricht's kid. Like, you're going to punish the Falcons because of something that one of their coach's sons did?
Yeah.
I think everyone's just kind of going, hey, we all know this isn't a great situation, but there's not really much more we can do.
People think there should be more they could do. I've seen firing him thrown out as an option. I've seen loss of draft compensation, which to me is all absurd because of all the reasons you just said. Would I prefer it not happen? Yes. Does it rise to the level of needing punishment or somebody somehow facing some sort of loss of employment? Absolutely not. It's a college kid. They're idiots. I was an idiot. We all were idiots at that age. That's just what it was.
Why did he drop? Why did most plugged-in get it
No, you have
wrong?
an idea. I mean, you've read all of the things, all of the speculation, all of
there have been players, but every single reason you give me, Jen, for here's why he dropped, I guarantee there are also, I mean, they're not new problems. They're problems we've seen for different players all the time. And they still go relatively where where you think they went. I don't know why he ended up going into the fifth round. Because everybody out there, whether it's, and I know Mel's, the one getting the most heat because he was the one, on ESPN stumping for the guy. But whether it was him, whether it was Field Yates, whether it's Matt Miller, whether it's Jordan Reed, all these different people for ESPN or the NFL Network or Fox Sports that do work around the draft, at worst, they probably had him as the third best quarterback behind Jackson Dart and behind Cam Ward. At worst.
So let me ask you this, Gabe.
I don't know why he ended up falling that far.
Did his dad have anything to do with it?
Yes, of course.
Did GMs and coaches
Let's just do the exercise, gang. Let's just do the exercise right here. The four of us can figure this out. We're smart people, right? Probably a combination of his dad. Overwhelming personality, very in your face. He's got that swagger to him. So I'm sure that there were some concerns there. By all accounts, and there are many of them out there, many of them anonymous because they didn't want to put their name to it because they didn't feel comfortable speaking about it, because that's a whole other thing, right? That's probably a Deion-related issue as well. Said he bombed the interviews. He went in there and acted entitled and didn't give it the proper level of respect and didn't say the right things, all of the things Look, it varies from person to person how important the interviews are, but they all agree that they are important. And so, by all accounts, and again, you can find all of this online in articles. People have gone to different franchises and said, why didn't it work out? He bombed the interviews. He didn't take them seriously. That's another reason that people are saying that he fell. What else? Oh, how about the fact that his completion percentage in college, especially under pressure, was 50%? Like, for as much as people liked his arm strength, there were literal and real issues with him as a talent at the next level. Concerns, if you will, Gabe.
Oh, but there's not concerns about the guys who went ahead of him?
Well, but that's... So you mentioned Dylan Gabriel, right?
Gabriel, I mean, again, Tyler Shuck going at 40 is outrageous. Brock Purdy is younger. There are a handful of NFL quarterbacks younger than Tyler Shuck, who, again, I can't believe that he ended up going 40th overall. Like, I'm not quite sure. Again, all these things that you list are accurate, but it's also not unique to Shador Sanders.
I do think it is unique. I do think there's a cult of personality.
The only thing unique is that his dad is Dion.
Yes.
That's the only thing.
But he also
which is enough.
But he also didn't have an agent, guys. Don't tell me that
participate in any of the offseason things. Not a single one of them. Given opportunity to go prove he's one of the people who deserves to be drafted, he relinquished the opportunity.
And again, guys, I'll just pull the curtain back and tell you guys, I was assigned to go out to Colorado to talk to him and Travis Hunter in a sit-down interview. They wanted Dion as well, thought it might not happen, but we were trying to get the two guys headed into the draft, okay? So I'm talking with Colorado, back and forth, back and forth. Can we do this day? Can we do that day? Yes, it sounds like this day. Oh, it sounds like we got to move this day. They're getting their numbers retired on the Saturday, right? So they're both going to be there. We need 20 minutes to sit down with them for our draft coverage. Nope, Shador's camp doesn't want to. Doesn't want to. No conversation beyond that. That's a non-starter. Couldn't do anything. Colorado couldn't do anything. I'm not saying that we have a ton of power. But I'm saying if you sit down and you do an interview and you talk glowingly about how amazing this has been and, how all of the things, maybe you change a couple of minds. I'm not trying to overinflate ESPN's power, College Game Day's power, ABC's power. But, couldn't hurt. Couldn't hurt to have sat down with us and had an interview in the days leading up to the NFL draft.
But that's not the only prospect you've ever been able to not get to sit down with you.
Correct.
Like that's not a unique problem. None of the things other than Dion is a unique problem.
I agree with you. The thing about his dad, Gabe, unbelievable talent. He could act how he wanted to. He's still getting drafted. His kid is not an unbelievable talent.
Yeah,
so
I would agree with that. Like
PIA.
But
Dion was drafted a few years before me, Gabe, and he told teams that were like 7th, 8th, and 9th range, like, I'm not interviewing with you. I'll be gone way before that.
And he was right.
And his kid, yeah, because he was an unbelievable talent. His kid isn't. And I agree with you that, yes, there was a Dion effect. He should have went earlier in the draft based upon where those other quarterbacks went. But this is the NFL. They can do whatever the hell they want.
I also think, like, teams and organizations are desperate to win. If they thought Shador was talented enough, they would have taken him. I think it's as simple as that. He doesn't have the level of talent for all the things that come with it. Because even if you have to stare down, well, is Dion going to try and coach here eventually? It doesn't matter if you're winning and successful. And they didn't deem him. I mean, all 32 teams had 4 opportunities, some of them 5, to take him. I
think the Browns passed on him 6 times before they took him. Because they had multiple picks.
Yes.
I think
and you know how this
times.
happened? He should have probably played a different position, but I'm sure Dion being Dion took him at 8 years old and coached his Pop Warner team up and said, no, you're playing quarterback because that's going to garner the most attention. Where he probably should have been a receiver or a defensive back.
I mean, the fun part about this is we get to see how this plays out because the Browns were dumb enough to take both Shador and Dylan Gabriel. And if he just laps Dylan Gabriel, then it's like, okay, then what was everybody
Then
doing?
you know.
Yeah. So the fun part is you get to see it play out because one of the guys who went in front of him is on the same team.
But what's interesting, guys, is that the NFL showed you, or at least the Cleveland Browns showed you, so if you want to say by extension the league, Dylan Gabriel's a really good kid. He's a yes ma'am, no sir type of kid. He's a in the books, first one there, last one to leave. Maybe the NFL is saying that is very important to them as well. That element. If Dylan Gabriel goes above Shador Sanders, maybe they're saying that those things matter too. It's a fascinating conversation. It will continue to be discussed on all of the platforms, maybe even Wilde and Tausch, which, by the way, is coming up next on on 94.5 ESPN Milwaukee.
Northbound 43 backing up from Fond du Lac Avenue up to Keefe. Southbound's nice and clear. Northbound 41, also heavy from Watertown Plank Road, pretty much all the way up past Capitol Drive, almost to Silver Spring. The southbound side slowing down a bit from just before Good Hope Road all the way down to Silver Spring as well. And eastbound 94, you got a little bit of a backup from 76th Street to Hawley Road. When business